Micah was just talking about one of the first things you guys discussed today was to start the transition. If Rudy gets the rebound, you're the one getting the ball and going forward and let the other guys go. Just how do you see that importance, I guess, of just having a real pecking order and marching order to kind of jumpstart that transition?
Yeah, I think it's big for our habits. You want to try to form good habits early on, and if you get guys, our most athletic guys running the floor, you got Julius, you got Jaden, Rudy, whoever, and me being able to just kind of be the quarterback. I like to throw it ahead. I like to push the tempo and get guys involved, and I think with that just being one of our principles early, I think all the guys immediately like, oh, that makes sense. Let's do it. So we're gonna try that out and see how it goes.
It's just training camp, but talking about transition, offensively, defensive ball pressure, that stuff kind of has to happen now, right? Like, it doesn't seem like too many teams just get good at that in the middle of the regular season.
Yeah, everything that you are, in January, you would have had to have already been coming into training camp or in training camp, and we expect to be, a tough-minded defensive team, a transition defensive team, get back running both ends of the floor. All those things we're trying to set right now. And a big thing we talk about is like getting uncomfortable with it. Like sometimes you are uncomfortable running corner to corner, and it's hard. But the more you do it, the more consistency you play with, you'll start realizing you're spacing the floor for each other, and not paying attention to it. The flow of the game is a lot easier, less turnovers. Like all these things kind of are byproducts of setting a good vibe from the jump. So hopefully we just keep working on that day to day and stack days with it.
How does that work in terms of like implementing it? Is it just the coaches saying it? Like how every team probably wants to run more, every team probably wants to defend the ball with more pressure. Like what do you guys do to work on that and make sure it becomes a habit?
It's just like anything. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you do things like that to continue a routine. You come in, first thing we do in practice is start outlet, throw it ahead, like get to certain spots on the floor. Not just, there's nothing by accident, I should say. Like you're not just out there just kind of walking through something. It's like there's a reason why you're in the corner, there's a reason why you're running wide. Big fella, there's a reason why you run into the rim, like the gravity that you bring. All these things are important, and it comes from us vets, but the coaches being able to stop us every time we don't do it, stop us every time we don't pressure the ball, stop us, just really being particular about that and consistent with it. I think that will allow us to kind of find that.
Mike, what are the keys to a more effective offensive season for Rudy this season?
Honestly, I think we gotta involve him more where he's great. Pick and rolls are he's huge in pick and rolls. Obviously, his rim running and ability to draw guys in. I think when you're able to find guys in the perimeter and open up the floor for him, it becomes a nightmare when he's able to roll and with some space. But another thing that we've worked on is him trying to get flat, him getting low. Because a lot of times we got guys like Jaden and Julius driving to the rim. If Rudy stays flat and they shoot a shot, they can't find Rudy. They're all looking to box him out. He's one of the better offensive rebounders if he's got a free run or he's already ducked under the rim. So just finding areas where he can just really, not say get the cheap ones, but the ones that are the 4 to 6 points a game where he's just getting tip ins and just getting himself a good rhythm and not necessarily having to catch the ball on the perimeter or take 2 dribbles and hand off, like all that stuff. We might not necessarily need him to do as much. Just try
like that Lakers game, right?
Yeah.
Game 5.
Yeah, you saw he was dominating from behind the backboard sometimes, rebounds, tip-ins, and running the floor and getting early seal. Like all that stuff is what we expect from him, and he's worked very hard on it.
Mike, I know you don't have the final say on this, but if you could apportion your 24 minutes a night, how would they go?
I honestly don't even know how to answer that one. It's a night-to-night thing. It depends on how. That's the thing about our team is.
Well, in general, I mean, would you want like long stints, or do you want a couple of short ones in the middle, or?
I feel like most players enjoy. You like to play a little longer stints. I think the shorter stints you may not, get a good rhythm. And I think if you get 6 to 7 minutes in a row or something like that, you're more likely to have really kind of grounded yourself in the game. So I think that'd probably be a little easier.
Mike, when it comes to just how you're approaching this year in terms of your career, it's the last year of your deal, how you're feeling physically, all that stuff, how are you just kind of approaching it? Is it just get through this year, see where you're at, or just where's your mind at when it comes to that stuff?
Man, honestly, I haven't thought too much about contracts or being a contract year, I think it's been more about me improving on last year. Last year I did not hold myself accountable more than anybody. I'm like, man, I know I'm way better, so I'm super excited about having the summer to work on my game and work on myself, which I didn't have last year. So super excited about it. I think at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens, but everybody knows I love it here. Everybody knows I love these guys and this organization, and we just want to win, and I'm here to do that.
Mike, do you feel like,
Couple more guys.
you've mentioned a couple times that like having the ball in your hands helps you kind of get into a rhythm, getting the ball on fast breaks to kind of, distribute it. How much of that is just like a changing of the game over your career, where there isn't many point guards out there now that really do want to set up teammates? A lot of times the point guard, if they get the ball kind of stops there.
Right.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like it's just been kind of like a shift over your career to where now you're telling people, hey, like,
Yeah.
I'm one of the true point guards?
Right. I can see that. I think a lot of these guys grow up playing in point guardless teams, and everybody's just doing their thing as they go up the court. But if you have one on your team, you got to use them. You got to use them as much as you can, because I like to shoot in corners and stuff like that, but I'd much rather be in a pick and roll or pushing the tempo or finding guys on back doors, or just really kind of manipulating the game as best as I can for the minutes that I'm out there, and that could be another way I can impact our team without necessarily just being a spacer or shooting if I'm open.
What do you think about the teams who don't? I mean, I know obviously this team does. They have you, there's potential point guard position, but as a long-term NBA point guard, is it weird to look around the league and be like, that team doesn't have any? You know what I mean?
It is, and it's unique because there's some teams that truthfully don't have a playmaker like that. I would say not necessarily a point guard. You look at the Lakers, I think LeBron and Luka are point guards, in their with their size and what they do. But there's a lot of teams that traditionally there's own guy that's looking to do. They're looking to score. They're looking to get their own shots, and that's been the changing of the game. And I think it's important. I told Ant and Julius and them guys, like, y'all know I'm the last person that wants to shoot 20 times. So if I get the ball, like, it's a good thing. Like, I promise y'all, I'm going to one of y'all, or I'm going to Rudy. I'm going to find you guys, and it's not about me. So hopefully that resonates a little bit, and we'll just kind of take off from there.
Is it
You
kind of
clearly
weird?
want to play, and this team is at their best with you on the court. How do you manage that fine line of like also being like a big brother or a mentor to like a younger point guard in Rob, who his best opportunity to get on the court would be your minutes, but also this you want to play, and your competitive spirit is still as high as it's ever been.
Right. Like I tell Rob, man, I'm here for him, honestly. I could care less about who's taking my minutes, is Dante or him or whoever. Like, man, I want y'all to be the best y'all can be, and I'm helping him at any point. Like, I'm helping him when he's guarding me during a 5-on-5 game. I'm telling him, hey, the screen's coming, get your leg over this way. Like, just trying to make sure he's getting this stuff right in real time. Because I know, this will be his show, whether it's now or 6 months or a year, whatever it is, it's his thing. So he's got to be able to process and be able to for the moment, learn as much as he can. And I'm just here for that.
What's the challenge with Ant? We've seen this team's at its best when Ant is an impact defender. We've seen many of the best players be impact defenders on a night-to-night basis. How do you go about challenging him to be that on a more consistent level?
I think last night we had a dinner, and our number one thing was what's our goal? We come in here to put on a show, perform. Are we trying to win a championship? What are we doing? And the consensus is we're trying to win a championship. And if Ant, you want to win a championship, we expect you to guard like you're the top 5 perimeter defender in the league, which we believe you are. Jaden, myself, whoever's out in the court, we have a job to do, and then we got to be consistent every single day. And Ant's at the front of that, and especially on that defensive end, with him competing the way he compete. We're a completely different team. He knows it, and it's going to require a lot more. It's going to kind of get him uncomfortable a little bit more tired, a little bit more in shape you had to be. But those are things we're trying to round out to try to knock down that door.